I try my best not to talk about anything that sounds remotely negative when it comes to creating content and the advice that I usually give, mostly to live streamers. But I feel like this is a pretty interesting conversation to have, so this is gonna be an open conversation. So if you have any opinions or if you have any takes on it, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I know the title is kind of spicy, why do streamers fail? Please understand that everyone has a different meaning of the word fail, and also you cannot fail doing a hobby, right? I'm into knitting. I cannot fail at knitting. I can fail at starting a knitting company. So with that in mind, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt and understand that it's an open conversation. So I do want your input in the comments. This is gonna be one of those talking head videos, so I'm gonna be talking a lot. I will not put music, so you can put your own music. If you want to minimize the screen, that's also completely fine. I'm just gonna be sitting here, nothing that important except my beautiful face will be on screen. But right before we start, let's hear a quick message from our sponsor, and then we can begin. This portion of the video is sponsored by OwnPro. OwnPro is a complete service to help you jumpstart your streaming career by offering you every single thing that you need in order to become the streamer you've always wanted to be. You'll get access to over 600 overlay packs and alerts. You'll get widgets such as events list, stream labels. You need help managing your stream? Here's a custom chatbot. OwnPro even went as far as creating copyright-free music just to make sure you stay on the safe side. OwnPro has the biggest library of overlay packs on the internet and allows you to install them in one click. Look at that. There's so many. Now, I've been working with Owned for a while now, so they decided to throw in 50% off of their Pro plan. So if you want to upgrade, simply use code GAEL, GAEL, for 50% off. But I'll let you find this out at own.gg/GaelLevelPro. That is own3d.gg/GaelLevelPro. So when I was preparing this video, I made a live stream yesterday where we talked about like multiple reasons. I had some bullet points before that, and basically every time I would try to categorize different reasons, it would all boil down to pretty much the same thing. It's not a lack of information, but it's a weird set of expectations. Basically, people have high expectations when they start streaming because normal people who don't stream, they only hear about Twitch when there's big things happening. They hear about Ninja, they hear about those, when Mixer bought out Shroud and Ninja and all those multi-million-dollar deals that are going on. So they really think that Twitch is like a pit of money and all you have to do is dive in and then grab your own and then you have to crawl back out. I don't know where that analogy went, but people think that there's an infinite amount of money being poured into every single streamer. So that kind of makes it scary, and that kind of makes people start streaming not for the wrong reasons, because there are no wrong reasons, but it definitely sets a set of expectations that people need to not keep once they started streaming. If you realize that your expectations were too high, it's time to lower them and adapt to the environment. So one of the loose categories I came up with was the reasons for starting. And the one I see, which is the most common, and once again, if you start for those reasons, nothing wrong, you just need to adapt. One of the reasons that I see a lot is I love video games, therefore I must be an amazing streamer because I love video games so much. I have collections. I live for video games. How am I not a good streamer? It doesn't boil down to loving video games. There's a lot of people on Twitch, for example, and most of them love video games. So there's nothing special. There's nothing to make you really stand out. Being a good broadcaster, a good entertainer is most likely what's going to help you grow a community. People are going to get attached to you. They're going to want to support you and want to see you succeed, which has nothing to do with your love for video games, which is also why people who don't play video games are technically the most paid on this platform. So once again, if you started just for video games and you do want to make it a career, because I'm addressing people who want to make it like a full-time thing, right? Actually use it as a job. Your love for video game is not going to cut it. You definitely learn to be an entertainer over time in order to connect with all those people who support you. Another reason I've seen people start streaming, and it was very high during the pandemic, is, and it's so icky to me, I lost my job, so I started streaming. And in my head, again, nothing wrong if you do that. The problem is Twitch is probably the worst thing you can do when it comes to making money online. There's nothing wrong with starting Twitch to make money. You just have to do it right. But you also need to understand what it means to do it right. Even if you're doing everything perfectly, the odds are not in your favor when it comes to making money fast. Twitch is literally the last thing I would advise someone to start doing in order to make money. There's so many other easy things that you can do. I talked about them in another video, so I'm not going to mention them here, but just know that making money online, Twitch worst decision ever. The amount of work you have to put in order to get the small amount of reward that is not even guaranteed is super high. It's super high and it's super long. It literally goes for years. Some people have been streaming on this platform consistently almost every day for the past 5 years, and they are still not making minimum wage every month. A lot of partners, which are pretty much the 1% of Twitch streamers, are not making a living off of Twitch. Some of them sometimes struggle to get that $100 paycheck. So keep that in mind when you're starting Twitch, okay? I'm not saying don't start Twitch for money, but this is how the money goes. This is where the money goes. Only a small, less than 1%, I believe, actually make a living off of Twitch. So understand from the outside perspective, you hear all those $1 million contracts being passed around. The chances of you getting one are super duper low, especially if you don't put in the effort to, blow up somewhere else. Another reason I hear people start streaming and believe that they will be an amazing and they will get like success immediately is because they grind video games, right? We all have that friend that's a little too good at Smash for your group of friends. He's the best and no one can dethrone him. So basically, in the grand scheme of things, especially on a platform that literally hosts esports events, that friend is slightly above average when it comes to playing the game. But they think that because they think they're a god, first of all, and then they think everyone's gonna love my gameplay because my gameplay is so good. When the truth is, again, you're on a platform that hosts esports events. The best players in the world are on the same platform. Why would I watch you for your gameplay when I can watch a tournament with cool, crazy light shows and amazing hosts and amazing commentators and everything? Why would I watch you instead of that? And I'm not saying, hey, don't stream or blah, blah, blah. Just understand that the gameplay doesn't matter as much as you might think. Again, being an entertainer, being able to grow a community and being able to have people follow you, they mostly will come for you. And if you are not a good host, they will not really have that much of a good reason to stay. I know people love to point out, yeah, but what about like Shroud or blah, blah, blah. We're talking about pro players that then started streaming. We're not talking about normal dudes. So understand that. I know like this, I'm going to bruise so many egos by making this video. Every bullet point that I have is something that can be expanded on for hours. I'm trying my best to keep it in one video. But again, if you have any concerns, put them in the comment section below. Try not to expose yourself, basically. Oh, my gameplay is good. What do you mean? Like, they should love me for my gameplay. What I do and what I say doesn't matter. So another category that I came up with after the reasons of starting is a certain toxic mindset. Now, don't be scared. When I say toxic mindset, I'm not talking about you being toxic to others. I'm talking about you being toxic mostly to yourself, really. Basically, thinking things that are disadvantageous for you. And one of the biggest things that I see is small streamers saying that because they're broke or they don't have a lot of money, then they cannot become big streamers, or they cannot like grow a community, or they cannot be entertaining. They cannot, I don't know, like the stream can't be good. I don't have a lot of money. And I'm like, what? How does that correlate at all? And I know it's easy for me to sit here on a $600 chair with my fancy lights and all of that. But the thing is, first of all, I didn't pay for most of the things that I have. But why? Why didn't I have to pay for those things? It's because I started without those things and I had to grow as a content creator without any of that, to the point where companies found it valuable to send me those things. But how did I do it? I'm opening a parenthesis here, and that's a good idea of why you shouldn't simply mimic what like a big creator is doing, because they're at a spot that has nothing to do with you and your grind. Right? They're at a spot where they have more freedom because they put in the work before. What you need to do is go back and find what they were doing when they were at your spot in order to get to their spot, if that makes sense. But anyways, the idea of having a bunch of things is gonna give you like more viewers or whatever. It's cool to have like flashy stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool, it grabs the attention, but at the end of the day, you as an entertainer is what is gonna make people want to come back. I can give a boring person $1 million to set up a stream set and blah blah blah, and I can give like a professional entertainer nothing, a phone. And in a couple of months after that, they would become a better streamer than the one with $1 million. While I was making the bullet points, a lot of things that I realized has to do with ego, which I believe it has to do with ego because it's basically the refusal of working on yourself. A lot of people will distract themselves. There's so much self-sabotage going in the streaming community, all forms of self-sabotage. And they come in, like when I say all forms, you might not even realize. Someone who's always obsessing about upgrading their mic, for example. Maybe they're just a microphone enthusiast. They're not. Most of the time, they're not. Most of the time, they're looking for a little thing that they can throw money at and say to themselves, I have just improved my stream, without ever watching their VOD and trying to actually improve themselves as a content creator, as an entertainer. They love to distract themselves from the fact that they need to work on themselves in order to keep the viewers here and keep growing that community that they desperately want, that they have in their About Me section. I want to grow a community and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but it starts with you. If you want to be a leader of the community, you have to have the traits. And if you don't have them, that's completely fine. This is the message that I'm trying to give you, is that you can work on that. You can get those traits. Don't settle for just be yourself. No, everyone has a boring friend in the friend group. And if you don't, you are the boring friend. This is why I'm telling you to try to improve yourself as an entertainer. But wait. Like, we're gonna expand even more on that, okay? Let's finish with the point about the gear. The truth is, if you have a 4G phone, 4G, not 5G, you can make it on Twitch. You really can make it. You can have a very entertaining stream with just a phone. If streaming is the thing that you actually want to do. When I found out that my upload speed was 0.7 megabits, did I stop streaming? Was I like, I can't stream? Because I couldn't stream. I wanted to stream Battlefield 3 and GTA 5. I couldn't stream those games. I mean, I did. They looked awful. I still had viewers though. Stream was still entertaining though. I grew my channel to 10K followers by streaming 480p. At first I was like, okay, the bitrate is low. My bitrate was at 500, by the way, for the whole time. The whole time. I was like, the bitrate is low, so when pixels are moving, it looks bad, okay? It gets pixelated. So I need to play games that maybe don't have that many pixels. I got an emulator, don't tell Nintendo, and I started playing Super Mario, but the pixels were still moving, and you know, it was cool, but it was hard to keep people entertained with Super Mario because it can be intense as a game. So then I was like, hey, I do Photoshop. Let me do educational streams. Now, no pixels are really moving. Everything looks clean. I had an old DSLR. I used that. Boom. Everything looks super clean. People were baffled when I told them, hey, look, it's 480p. They were like, what? That looks better than some 720p streams. Cool. Grew to 10K with possibly the worst internet you can have for a live stream because I adapted. I could have been like, oh, well, I can't stream Battlefield, then I can't stream. And then I don't stream. But streaming was the thing I wanted to do. Playing Battlefield was my hobby, of course. I love playing Battlefield. I just play Battlefield outside of streaming. That's it. If you cannot use the tools that you have, what makes you think you're worthy of using the tools you don't have? Okay, that sounded so a little, what are you, Thor? Are you mighty enough to wield the Elgato Wave 1? For real though, for real. A couple months ago, I was still streaming with like a $50 mic. And I understand that gurus like me make you feel like you need all of that stuff. And you don't realize that in order to get that plaque, I had to work without any of this. I had to make things work without any of this. My first PC, where I basically built my channel and my stream with, was like a $400 PC. Me doing tech reviews is it's pretty much the reason why I have a lot of the stuff, and a lot of stuff was sent to me for free because I worked my butt off with my $400 PC. So yes, streaming costs a lot of money to a lot of people who spend a lot of money. Does streaming have to cost a lot of money? No, it doesn't. Being a content creator in general, does it have to cost a lot of money? No, it doesn't. It starts with a phone. Oh, you have a console that can stream? You have good internet? Congrats, you have a great advantage over a lot of people. Oh, you have a PC and you have good internet. You have a PC, you have bad internet. You still have an advantage over a lot of people. Now, if you have a good, PC and you have a good internet connection, then the sky is the limit. Another toxic mindset that most of these beginners have, but I've seen people stream for a year and they're still complaining and they're still saying this. The toxic mindset is, why should I speak when no one is in chat? And I'm tired of explaining it. I'm tired of explaining that what makes people talk in chat is the stream is welcoming and engaging enough for them to want to talk in chat. If you show to my apartment, like let's say you're walking, you open a door, you show up to my apartment and there's a couple of people around. All right, couple people sitting here and I'm standing, I have a mic and I'm like, yo, okay, this is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. You're going to grab a chair, you're going to sit down, right? And then when you see people starting to talk, or if I say something that is relatable, you're going to be like, hey, I can relate to that. And then boom, congrats, you're part of the crew now. You're part of the viewers now. But if you show up to my apartment and I'm facing a wall, aren't you gonna just slowly back out and then leave and never come back? That's the exact same. That's your analogy. Why would I speak when the stream needs to be entertaining and welcoming enough for people to want to engage? I don't want to say more about it. I'm tired of this thing of saying this. Another toxic mindset is the I want to stream and I want to stream only. Meaning that people will be like, hey, okay, I have 3 months, I have vacation, okay? 3 months where I don't have anything to do. So I'm going to stream every single day for 12 hours. The problem with that is that, cool, you're streaming a lot, but you leave no room for improvement. Just like a muscle, I like that analogy. Just like a muscle, your muscle mostly they heal and grow in your sleep. It's the same thing for stream. Your stream gets better when you're not streaming, actually. When you're learning, when you're tinkering with stuff, when you're improving a couple of visual stuff, but also learning, like improving your brain as a content creator. This is where your stream is actually growing. Of course, not in viewership or blah, 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 but like the content will be significantly better if you spend, 2 days learning about how to advertise properly, having better overlays or more engaging overlays, more widgets and stuff. I'm not saying like make your stream completely full of widgets and you're going to be fine, but you know what I mean. Taking the time to learn is a big part of being a content creator. And I want everyone to actually schedule their time where they can do all of that. If you ask anyone how to grow on Twitch, they're going to tell you need to be active on social media. You can't be active on social media if you're streaming 24/7. You can't look at your own VODs and point out your own mistakes and write them down and try to improve on them. You can't realize that you haven't had a host alert in a while. Maybe they're not working. You should probably fix it. You can't figure that out if you're streaming 24/7. You have no time for improvement. You're probably going to learn a couple of things. You might be slightly more comfortable on camera, but if you have like a weird thing that you do when you're nervous, you're not going to find out because you don't have time to watch your VODs because you're streaming 12 hours a day. Don't do it. Don't do it. Take the time, first of all, to rest and to feel fresh every time you start a stream. Another toxic mindset is the I refuse to be fake argument every time I tell people, hey, be better. Try to be better. Try to improve. Okay. Hey, when I speak, okay, I stream, I slouch a lot. My eyes are droopy like that, and I mumble. This is my stream. Oh, what's your favorite? That's my favorite game. Okay, cool. You can improve that. You have the ability to improve that. But when I tell people that, they're like, so you're telling me to put on an act? I'm telling you to train yourself to be a better person in general. If you're boring in real life, most likely you're going to be boring on stream. So me telling you, hey, you know what? Take a little bit of time in front of the mirror when you're in the bathroom and talk to yourself a little bit. Find out the things you don't like. Watch your VODs, write them down and be like, okay, I mumble a lot. I say at the end of my sentences. I would try to cut that down. I used to say a lot. I speak French. It's the normal thing when you're speaking French. It's not normal when you're speaking English. I worked on that. My accent was weird. My accent is still weird, but it was really bad. And some syllables would come out completely wrong. I had to work on that. It's not about being a different person. It's about being a better person. If you improve that for your stream, guess what? You're going to be a more interesting person in real life. So it's a win-win. You're a streamer. When you walk into the room and a lot of people are talking, people are going to feel like this person is an entertainer. This is a professional entertainer. That's what you want, right? You want to be taken seriously as an entertainer? Be an entertainer, you know? I've had so many arguments. In one of my videos, I was like, take a shower, smile a little bit more if that has to do with your community and the whole vibe you give. Clean your room, try to dress up a little nice, because people tend to pay more attention to people like TV personalities. They're always dressed super sharp. They have makeup on just to make sure that you're listening, you're watching. And the people are like, well, you're telling me to be fake. I refuse to be an actor and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, taking a shower is you being fake? What are you talking about? I'm telling you, try your best to be the most decent, pleasant looking and sounding person. You don't have to be nice. I'm not telling you to be nice. A lot of communities, it's the grit of it, the banter and stuff like that. You don't have to be nice. But there are things that are kind of universal. This is the tendency that the human brain seems to have. They're more likely to listen to you if you're speaking clearly. They don't like to hear mumble because they can't understand what you're saying. Also, the whole vibe is like when it feels like you're about to fall asleep. So they're going to feel like they're about to fall asleep. They're going to be bored. They're going to be bored. They're going to leave. I shouldn't have to be explaining that, but I'm explaining the basics. I'm just saying the basics. Another one that I see is entitlement/comparison. So it's people who compare themselves to bigger streamers or bigger content creators, and then they get mad. They're envious, which is a normal human emotion to feel. But the problem is that they go search for those bigger streamers, because as they rise up the echelons of the content creation scale, they find a new one every time. I've had people that I used to be envious because yeah, that happens to me too. But the thing is that instead of feeling sad for myself, it motivates me to put in more work. I can easily turn to myself and be like, oh, you're not there because you're not putting as much work as they are. And even if they are putting less work than you and they're there and you're not, if you have to put 10 times more work, do it. Do it. You don't have to sit here and just be sad that, oh, I would have to. There's no I would, is I will. But now I have people that I used to be envious of that, like, I'm technically considered a bigger content creator than them, but I stopped comparing myself to them. So I compare myself to other bigger creators. And then I was like, it's useless to compare myself to other people. I should be focusing on my craft, try to perfect my craft and improve myself and my content and grow my community. I don't have time. Someone who's actually doing good doesn't have time to do all of the envy and comparison. I don't understand streamers who keep tabs, and I know I have friends that do that, so I'm definitely gonna get DMs about this. But I don't understand the idea of keeping tabs on how other small streamers are doing their analytics. Like, how do you know like their numbers? You shouldn't have time to know other people's numbers. You shouldn't even have time to know your own numbers because you're working on the content. Anyways, I'm going wild. I'm going to stop here because I'm going to lose friends if I continue. It's just a hobby. That's one thing that I hear a lot. It's just a hobby. Nothing wrong with doing streaming as a hobby. If live streaming is the thing that you love and you're really doing it as a hobby, having one viewer, I can understand. It's not the full streaming experience. 2, 3, 4, 5. Having 5 people show up to your stream every single time you stream, that's the streaming experience. You're living it. You're having conversations. They're watching you play games. They probably support you. They probably sub to you. That you made it your hobby. You should be super happy about it. If I'm knitting sweaters and my granddaughter is happy with my sweaters, I'm happy because I enjoyed making the sweater. The problem with Twitch streamers is that they want to knit the sweater, but they also want to get $1 million for the sweater. And then when you tell them, oh, well, you should probably like make a company, make an LLC, and then establish, I don't know, some sort of factory where you can produce more sweaters. And they're like, whoa, all that work? And they're like, yeah, you want to make $1 million? And they're like, but it's just a hobby. I'm not going to put in all that work. That's the weird part. Ask yourself, are you actually doing it as a hobby? Why are you grinding so hard then? Why don't you have fun if it's really a hobby? Oh, I love streaming. I'm doing it as a hobby, but I'm tired of seeing 10 viewers average. It makes me cry. That's not a hobby. That sounds like torture. That sounds like you feel you should have more and more and more. And I can understand some people do that, but understand that, hey, that's a passion of basically succeeding at creating a business. It's not a hobby. You're trying to make it a job. At least you're acting like it. So either own it or be content with what you have and have fun, because a hobby, you're supposed to have fun doing a hobby. I'm not saying that you can't do one with the other. I have a lot of fun making YouTube, but I also try to make YouTube videos that succeed. I don't just use YouTube as my personal little hobby thing where I can do whatever. Otherwise, I would be making music in here. I would show more 3D printing. And I know those things would not get as much views as Twitch advice. Once again, I might be intolerant, but to me, it's like I'm saying just 101 stuff. I'm saying such basic stuff that I feel like everyone should know this, but I'm having that conversation every single day with a different streamer. All right, the last point I have way more points, but I wanna end on one that is trying to find shortcuts. This one is more complex because technically, if you use a strategy, like if you use a proper marketing strategy to blow up on Twitch, for example, or YouTube or whatever, you've used this, that's a shortcut in a way, right? Because if you're doing it, for example, as a hobby, right? You're streaming. Let's say you're streaming on Twitch every single day in a year, 365 days in a year, right? And every day you get 1 follower. which would be amazing, which probably will not be the case. When you start streaming, like getting 1 follower per stream is rare. A lot of people have it, blah, 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 but it's rare to average 1 follower per stream. But let's say, so you apply nothing, you just stream. You would think after a year, I'm getting only 1 follower per stream. I need more followers. I only have 365 followers after a year. 365 followers. I don't know anyone with that number who's making a living. So you just put every single day in a year of work in something that doesn't bring you minimum wage. Probably. You're probably struggling to make the $100 a month. So that gives you a scale of how Twitch is without like the effort part, without the actual, hey, if I want to make it a hobby, it's a hobby. I love it. If I want to make it a job, here's what I'm going to do, right? Another case, you start and then 3 months later, all right? 3 months later, you have a solid stream. You think everything is cool. Your alerts are on point. You have your branding. You did all the good work, right? You have a Twitter, you have your TikTok, you have your YouTube shorts, you have your Instagram, and you're constantly posting on those things. You're following TikTok trends. You're giving yourself time to learn about all of those other platforms, including YouTube Short. You also have a normal YouTube where you do educational content about a video game that you actually play on Twitch, for example, right? Technically, you took a shortcut. Because now, because of the success that you're going to find on those other platforms, you're going to have way more traffic to your Twitch, and you're probably going to be getting way more than 1 follower per stream. So that's technically a shortcut. So people who are taking shortcut, when I wrote that down, I was mostly talking about the wrong shortcuts, like follow for follow. Number goes big in a couple months, but it means nothing. It serves no purpose. And if anything, it hinders your growth, because now you have a big number of followers, 10K followers, only 2 viewers. That looks immediately sus, makes people not want to check your channel, makes Twitch most likely not want to accept your affiliate contract, or definitely not your partner contract, because we can see when you're doing follow for follow or view botting. That is why I say it's more complex, because there are shortcuts, but there are no real shortcuts without hard work attached to it. Every shortcut is attached with a lot of hard work. I can say that me telling you, I grew my Twitch channel to 10K, blah, blah, blah. My YouTube channel helped a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I probably wouldn't have 10K if I didn't have this YouTube channel that also had to do with Twitch. Even though I don't advertise it a lot, go follow me on Twitch, please. The YouTube channel definitely helped. Opening up a store on Gumroad and selling overlays to Twitch streamers and linking my Twitch channel in there also helped. I got a lot of followers from there. So technically that's a shortcut. That's something that you can do, except it involves a lot of work. Anyways, to end on a positive note, I have no idea what I'm going to say here, but remember that live streaming is super fun. You should be having at least a minimum of fun, even if you're taking it seriously. As I'm talking to you, I'm like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. You gotta keep a high percentage of actually loving the art of entertaining people and creating content. I think that's very, very, very important, because it can be great. It can be amazing. You get support, you get love for doing what you like and stuff like that. But it can also be soul crushing when those things don't actually pan out. So make sure that you take care of your mental health. It's very important. I'm not a professional. Don't take this as mental health advice or anything, but I understand that a lot of people get into streaming before knowing. You don't know what it feels like to sit down and stream, talk to yourself for hours and stream to 0 people the whole time for months. You don't know what it feels like until you actually do it. Some people can't handle it, and that's completely fine. I get it. It's kind of a horrible thing to do, and some people, they're going to do it and then they're going to push through, which is great for them. But understand that you won't know until you try. And once you finally get 1, 2, 3 viewers, those are not numbers. Those are people. Those are actual human beings who have a limited time on Earth, and they're dedicating some of this time to you. Perfect. All right. Go follow me on Twitch if you're looking for some dope overlays. I got a bunch of free ones on gumroad.com/getlevel. Some of them are also paid, very affordable. Someone sent me a DM, angry DM. They were like, there are also paid ones. You said free overlays. Like, you're mad because I have 99 cents animated overlay packs. Come on. It took me 3 months to make them. Anyways, so yeah, follow me on Twitch, and if you want more discussions like that, and I will be right back. No, I will see you guys next time. Go out there, make me proud. Get level out.